Live from the studios of iHeartRadio and WOR 710 AM in beautiful downtown Tribeca, it's the Tom Maoli Go Big or Go Home show. We will go live inside the mind of Tom Maoli, and he will explain how you can start a business, grow your business, fund your idea, or the next multi-million-dollar invention, or how to buy the piece of real estate you've always wanted. Now's your chance to hear it live right from the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. And now, here's Tom Maoli.
And we're back. We are here and in the 710 WOR Len Berman Studios, and you know it's I gotta just say this. I say it week after week. I gotta pinch myself because we have 250 million listeners. It's unbelievable. It's unreal. And, you know, I want to remind everyone out there, all the listeners, that, you know, Monday to Friday, drive time in the morning, drive time at night. It's the Maoli Minute. It's quick business tips to get you to Sunday. It's, you know, it's like reading the Bible before you go to church on Sunday. You know, you get tips along the way and you get your motivation. And, you know, week after week, the guests just be getting better and better and better. And this week we have, and I say this all the time, but this week we have like the ultimate special guest, because it's, you know, we're talking about ground zero, near and dear, you know, to New York City, to all the listeners out there. We have, this gentleman is a 12-season NFL New York Giant, Pro Bowl winner, NFL Defensive Lineman of the Year 2 times, 3-time All-Pro, 4-time All-NFL, holds 2 Super Bowl rings. 2. I don't know how you carry them. 2. I don't know how you carry them.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. MVP of the Giants 3 times. We have New York Giant Leonard Marshall in the studio here with us. Leonard, say hello to everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yay,
Good morning.
Leonard.
I'm happy and excited to be here.
The big guy.
What an amazing career, Leonard. And, you know, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for taking your time this morning, because the listeners want to hear from you. They want to hear how you did it. It's, you know, this show is all about motivation. How do you,
Right.
I try and teach people, how do you get out from behind the cubicle? People have business ideas. I want to talk about your football career, but we're going to get to business, because clearly you're a business and a man, an entrepreneur now, and we'll get there. But you know, it's just your career's unbelievable. I mean, you started in Franklin, Louisiana, and you, as a child, you started playing football, and you said the game was stupid. Why?
Yeah, well, my father told me the game was stupid because he didn't see the results. He had never witnessed the results. I mean, no one from a little small town like Franklin, Louisiana, 750 people strong, ever made it out of there to become something. So, you know, back, you know, when I was a kid, I had no, the role models I had were on television. I had no role models that I could actually point to that came from where I came from. There was only one guy, and his name was Wallace Francis, and he was a wide receiver with the Buffalo Bills, who was a teammate of O.J. Simpson. So once I was able to identify who he was, he became iconic in my life. And my quest and my goal was to one day do what he did on television the same damn way.
So somewhere along the line, this is what this show is all about. A seed was planted, right? A seed was planted. A seed was planted. You wanted to be a professional football player. You saw it, you felt it, you knew it. And tell us, like, what got you there?
My drive, determination, and motivation.
Drive, determination, and motivation. I love it. I love it.
It came from understanding what sports does for a young boy. Sports teaches you. There's so much to learn from sports. That's why I tell mothers and parents, get him off the computer, get him in the yard.
Amen.
Right.
Have him in the yard. Let him be a boy. Let him leave the house smelling like flowers. Let him come home smelling like a skunk. Because if he comes home smelling like a skunk, you know he accomplished something at the end of the day. So my goal and my deal in life was, let me find out how they did it, so then I could possibly go on and do it myself. And that's what I did.
Well, listen, that's what this show is all about. It's teaching people how to do it because they need a role model.
Correct.
Millions and millions of people are sitting in corporate America in cubicles, and they're sitting there, they have ideas. They don't know how to execute them. How do I finance it? How do I do it? How did you do it? I get the question all the time. How did you do it? And I say, determination.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, a seed was planted. I was young. I wanted to be. I always said. My friends tell me now. Yeah, I would stop. We would be going out in high school, and they'd say, you know, we'd be going somewhere, and I'd have to stop, and they'd say, well, what are you doing? I say, well, I'm working. I want to be a millionaire.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of the same way I did it. I mean, you know, I arrived here from Franklin, Louisiana. They laughed at me. They thought I was the fat kid from Louisiana, and as the years came up, you started racking up numbers, and now you look back at it, my career is probably second to one or two guys, and those two guys I could think of are Michael Strahan and Lawrence Taylor.
Wow, that's amazing.
Impressive.
That's amazing. Listen, and by the way, you're on your home turf here. New York City, people are going crazy right now on the radio. I mean, they're going crazy. I can't even imagine social media. It's unbelievable. But, talk about LSU, right? 1982, you were responsible for beating Alabama. You were a key part of beating Alabama. And Bear Bryant went crazy. Bear Bryant was pissed that he didn't recruit you.
Yes, well, he did recruit me. He just wasn't able to sign me, but he did recruit me. I got recruited by Oklahoma, Alabama, LSU, and Tulane and John Robinson at USC, but I wanted to stay home because I wanted to play on my home turf. I wanted to be one of those guys that from the 70s, when you look back, one of a few African American players that infiltrated LSU at that time and that left an impact and a legacy at that university. Now I'm in the Hall of Fame at that university. Right. I'm in the Hall of Fame in the state of Louisiana. I'm very proud of that. My father's name is in lights and enshrined in that state for the rest of his life and hopefully the rest of my natural life. And that was my goal, when I started. I had no idea, as a visionary, I had no idea that at the end of the rainbow, I would be able to enjoy the fruits of my labor as I have.
That's amazing.
That's
amazing.
And like I tell
story.
people
I love
all the
it.
time,
I love it.
The 3 Ps come to mind: people, places, and perspectives. Identify them, realize what they are and why you're there, and then make the commitment. Or not. But remember, when you choose not to make the commitment, it's on you at the end of the day.
Listen, I always say you can't hit the ball unless you swing the bat.
That's right.
You got to swing it.
Right.
You can't be afraid of striking out.
That's right.
You got to swing the bat.
Got to swing it.
Exactly. But you got to swing it intelligently. You have to analyze. You have to practice. You're going to do a business deal. You have to analyze it. You have to look at it. You have to. Sometimes you got to get in the car and drive around, and you got to feel it in your gut.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one thing I admire about you, though. You swung the bat and you swung for the fence every time. And it seems that, and people say this all the time, Maoli's lucky. It ain't luck. It's not luck. And I'm telling you, to any one of you that think it's luck, it's not luck. You get out of life what you put into life. It's like a huge echo, and it rings in the back of your head. And either you recognize the echo, and it rings every day in your head, and it drives you, and it motivates you to want to be successful. Failure is what I'm afraid of. Bill Parcells asked me when I walked out for the Super Bowl in 1986. He said, Leonard, what scares the hell out of you? And I told him, what scares the hell out of me is John Elway throwing a long ball, and I'm standing there looking at it going, there goes my Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay? So that's what scares me.
Absolutely. Fear. Right.
Fear.
Listen, fear is crippling.
Yeah.
Fear is crippling. And, at the end of the day, you have to realize if you're going to get up at bat and you're going to swing the bat, you're not always going to hit the ball. And sometimes you're going to make a mistake and you're going to swing at a ball that that was, you say, why did I do that? And it happens. You have those moments, but listen, you recover, right? I always say, I use the analogy of football, and football is so powerful because at the end of the day, if you're a running back, right? What's your goal? Score a touchdown,
yes,
right? That's how it is in business and in life. You want to score a touchdown. So you're going to get out there, they hand you the ball, you're going to go up the middle, and you get tackled. What happens next time? Is the game over?
No.
You go back to the huddle, you come up, that's it. You do it again, you get a new play, you brush yourself off, and next time you fake up the middle and you go around the outside.
That's right. That's right.
Well, listen, we're going to take a commercial break. We're here in the WOR Len Berman Studios. It's Tom Maoli, Go Big or Go Home. The phone lines are open for Leonard Marshall, for questions for Leonard Marshall and for myself. It's 1-800-321-0710. We'll be back in a few minutes after our commercial break with New York Giant legend Leonard Marshall. Hi, I'm owner Tom Maoli. I want to personally invite you to experience the celebrity treatment at Alfa Romeo of Morris County. We treat all of our customers like a VIP celebrity. You'll find the most competitive prices in the industry and 18 acres of inventory.
Right now, get a new 2018 Alfa Romeo 4C Coupe for just $699 a month.
The fastest way to get the status you deserve and the value you expect is to follow the star to Alfa Romeo of Morris County. Shop where the celebrities shop. Hi, I'm owner Tom Maoli. I want to personally invite you to experience the celebrity treatment at BMW of Springfield. You'll find the most competitive prices in the industry and a parking deck which is 10 stories high, full of inventory.
Right now, get a new 2018 BMW X3 3.0i with xDrive for only $349 a month.
The fastest way to get the status you deserve and the value you expect is to follow the star to BMW of Springfield. Shop where the celebrities shop.
And we're back with real estate and automotive business and finance serial entrepreneur, Mr. Go Big or Go Home himself, Tom Maoli, and special guest, Leonard Marshall.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. I'm honored here. I'm sitting in the studio with New York Giant legend Leonard Marshall in the Len Berman Studios, 250 million listeners, iHeartRadio. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't get any better. It's unbelievable. You know, Leonard, thanks for taking the time today. Phone lines are open, 800-321-0710 for people who want to call in and ask questions on business. They want to ask Leonard a question. Leonard, I have some questions here. The listeners, an hour's not enough, but I have some questions here. Let's talk about today's sports and concussions and what's going on with injuries. What do you feel about it and what's happening?
Well, I think, the issue, the first issue is, is the game safer?
Right.
And I'll speak to that for a little bit. I think it is. I think that for the most part, the quarterback position, the running back position is a little bit more protected. I think they could do more for wide receivers in the game. I think that on the defensive side of the ball, there's a little bit of leniency, but not as much, and I think they've taken the big collisions out the game that fans expect when they go to football games.
Right.
If you remember back in the day, they used to sell you the Sports Illustrated tape, and they show you NFL's greatest hits.
Yes.
And there'd be a guy doing the whirly bird. There'd be a guy getting dumped on his head.
Right.
And you see quarterbacks getting blasted.
Right. It became the WWE.
Correct. Even like my play with Joe Montana, where I knock him out in the championship game.
Right.
That would have cost me $250,000.
Right.
And probably a 4-game suspension.
Yeah.
Well, if it was now.
You sped up my questions, but that's okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about the Montana hit.
Okay. So if you go back and you look at that football play, you talk about entrepreneurship. I slip down. I make a pass rush move. I slip. I'm crawling. A guy chops my feet. I continue to crawl. And as I continue to get there, I look up and the guy pulls the football down and he extends his left arm to tell Jerry Rice to keep running. That's when I say, okay, Leonard, you got one or two things to do. Either leave your feet or the game's over, because he's going to complete the pass to Rice. Right. So I leave my feet. I hit him. The next thing I know, we roll off the ground. He's got a big chunk of grass in his helmet. He's completely knocked out and concussed. I was hoping LT would have caught the ball and have been one of these dramatic plays where he catches it and runs it in the end zone. But it didn't happen like that. Right. Actually, Mark Collins missed the football, and they end up recovering it. But I tell you what, at the end of the day, when I look back on it, it was a football play that was pivotal of our team for that season, because we were a bend but don't break team, and to be able to get up one more time and we could be knocked down was our role model and our crying mentor for being successful in 1991.
Clearly a legendary play for the team, a legendary play in your career, but I see more. I see you're down on the ground, and you're talking about making decisions in split seconds. Split seconds. I mean, it's almost like an airline pilot, right? The plane's about to go down. You got to make some choices. What do? Split-second decisions, and sometimes in business, it's like that.
That's
sometimes
exactly what it is.
It's you have these ideas. You go out there, you start an idea, and we're going to get to business in a little while, because obviously it's what I want the listeners to hear about how you transformed from sports to business. But we'll get there. So you're in business. You get out there. You start a business. You got to make decisions. Sometimes it's split second. You got to think on your feet. You got to react. You got to be able to be nimble, and you got to be flexible.
It's a rolling target. And as it rolls, you have to roll with it. And you must understand that when you get involved. I mean, if otherwise, if you stick in this and stay in this one lane, you're not going to be as successful as you thought you could be. And so you got to be able to roll with it and understand that in anything you try to do or attempt to do, it's going to move on you. You just have to be able to move with it.
Right. So you're out there. Is this? Are you seeing all this in slow motion, or is
all
it happening?
All in my
it's
head.
All in
my
slow
head, Tom.
motion.
As it's going on,
Right.
all in my head. When I took to leave my feet and to separate him from the football, I'm saying to myself, geez, am I going to hit him? Is the ball going to go in the air? Is Lawrence going to be able to scoop and score? What's going to happen? So all that was going through my mind as I'm making that play. Am I going to be sitting at home on sport and watching Sports in the Sand if I could have, would have, should have?
Right.
Or am I going to be the guy to make that play and I'm going to go, I'm going to get myself another ring? So all that goes through your mind.
All that goes through your mind.
All that goes through your mind.
Unbelievable. So talk about teamwork.
Teamwork. Wow, that's a great. As an entrepreneur in business, people who they look at me and they're like, look at how successful you are. You're amazing. I said, you know what? It's a team.
This is all. If you don't have a team, you're nothing.
Yeah.
You're not. No one's an island. No man is an island.
So one thing I recognized when I joined the New York Giants, when I came here in 1983, we were a team that was trying to be put together. Bill Parcells was a rookie head coach. He had never been a head coach at the National Football League level. We had a bunch of bodies. We had an old Brad Van Pelt, an old Brian Kelly, a young Lawrence Taylor. The next season, he brings in a young Carl Banks, a young William Roberts. And then he brings in a young Gary Reasons. He brings in a young Pepper Johnson, and a number of other players. And as he continued to stack the deck, I started to see things become a little bit more vivid.
Right.
And I started to see guys that I could actually play with and get some things accomplished. And so every year, I challenged myself to get better. Always try to better your best is what I learned early on.
That's what I say every
Always try
day.
to better your best. If you did it this way and you were successful at it this way, try to do a little bit more the next time and see what happens.
Right.
So every year, that's what I tried to do. Always better my best. And as I continued to do that, we did that.
Exactly. Right. I always say in business, if you think that you're at the top of your game and you're smarter than everyone else and you're the best, then you're fooling yourself.
Absolutely. And it's like my coach Lamar Leachman used to tell me, as long as you're green, you continue to grow. So when you think you're ripe, you'll begin to rotten. And rotten, Good one. What happens to rotten? You throw rotten in the garbage can.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
And so that's the one thing that I could take from teamwork and from all the analogies that are associated with sports. I apply them, the principles of what I do now, and along with academia, of course. And it seemed to work.
Well, listen, amazing career, and it's unbelievable. 1986 to 1991, you were on the Howard Stern Show.
Yes.
Talk about that. So you had your own radio career.
Yeah, my own radio career.
I'm the neophyte here.
Right.
You're the expert.
Well,
I'm the neophyte.
The one thing that Howard Stern offered me balance away from the game. He offered me a chance to be funny. I always thought I was a funny kid. I always thought that I could bring some humility to football, and the beauty behind it is I garnered a few million fans from it. I wrote a book, my first book called The End of the Line, which led me to do other stuff. But the main thing I did while I was playing football was to go back to school, to go back to good old Fairleigh Dickinson University in New Jersey, finish my BA in finance, and then continue to work towards an MBA at Seton Hall, and certification in management, some other things that I've been able to do in my life, and
smart
and
advice.
Just try to keep building
Smart
and growing.
Advice.
Just try to keep building. Like I say, keep growing. Don't think I'm ripe, because I'll begin to rotten if I do. And the relationships that I thought I could build, I wouldn't be able to build. So I was the kind of athlete that if you gave me this business card during the course of the week where you came to pat me on the back and tell me how great I was or not, I took that business card and I kept it. And I figured one day I'll be able to use this card.
One day you'll use it. Amen.
And that's what I did.
I have every business card since 1982 when I started in business. Isn't that
funny?
amazing?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I actually sit down sometimes and reminisce and look at them. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And you look at the history of what you've gone through.
The people you meet. The people you meet.
Yes, exactly. It's all about the people.
The times in your life.
And you didn't rest on your laurels
of
being a New York Giants star player.
No, I didn't.
You had to keep moving forward.
We talked about teamwork and being a part of a team. Talk about people you meet. Obviously, in sports and business, it's the same. It's about who you meet. It's about who you come across. We had a guest on last week that was absolutely amazing, Ron DeShear, and we talked about this. How many times have you been invited to events that you don't want to go to? You say, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, it's just, I'm not going, and then you get there and you're like, oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
How many people you meet.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I think, I look back on it, I've met some of the who's who's. I've met Michael Eisner. I've had dinner with people like Michael Eisner, like Donald Trump when he was younger, like
the Trumpster.
Yeah, like I mean Carl Icahn. I've met a number of people in my lifetime, and every one of them at every level I've met them, sports was the connection. But then once they found out that, this guy's just not a football player, this pretty bright guy.
Oh, amazing. Sports was the connection. That's interesting. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to talk about sports and connection.
So
exactly.
The connection, I used the connection to parlay it into relationship building and team building. The same way I did at the New York Giants, where I was lined up to Lawrence Taylor to my right and Harry Carson to my left.
Amazing.
I was lined up to this business professional to my right and this business professional to my left. And I had another one playing his role just left of him. So, that's what you call team building.
That's what's team building, exactly. And networking is so important. My daughter's studying to be an entrepreneur, and she's in college, and they teach networking, and I think it's amazing. Networking is what it's all about.
Yes.
You got to get out there. You got to meet people. Just go to events. Just be there. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know who knows who.
That's right.
Exactly. You never know.
Right.
You never know how that's going to take your career or whatever you're trying to accomplish to the next level.
That's right.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's really amazing. So we're going to take a commercial break, Leonard. We're going to get back. When we get back, I want to talk a little bit about some just where your business after football, life after football, because that's what this show is really about. Thank you. I mean, clearly it's about sports. We want to hear about your sports, but I want to talk about life after football because people are waiting to hear that. The entrepreneurs that are out there that want to start businesses, they want to hear, what do you do after sports? We're going to talk about it. We're going to take a commercial break. It's Tom Maoli, Go Big or Go Home. Phone lines are open, 800-321-0710. We'll be back with legend, New York Giant, Leonard Marshall. Hi, I'm owner Tom Maoli. I want to personally invite you to experience the celebrity treatment at Alfa Romeo of Morris County. We treat all of our customers like a VIP celebrity. You'll find the most competitive prices in the industry and 18 acres of inventory.
Right now, get a new 2018 Alfa Romeo 4C Coupe for just $699 a month.
The fastest way to get the status you deserve and the value you expect is to follow the star to Alfa Romeo of Morris County. Shop where the celebrities shop. Hi, I'm owner Tom Maoli. I want to personally invite you to experience the celebrity treatment at BMW of Springfield. You'll find the most competitive prices in the industry and a parking deck which is 10 stories high, full of inventory.
Right now, get a new 2018 BMW X3 3.0i with xDrive for only $349 a month.
The fastest way to get the status you deserve and the value you expect is to follow the star to BMW of Springfield. Shop where the celebrities shop.
We're back. We are back with real estate, automotive, business, and finance serial entrepreneur, Mr. Go Big or Go Home himself, Tom Maoli. Tom?
Thanks, Jim. And we're here with legend, New York Giant, on his home turf. Unbelievable. Legend, New York Giant. It's Leonard Marshall. It's unbelievable. And, I want everyone I want to remind everyone, Monday to Friday, daily morning drive on your driveway home from work is the daily business tips, the Maoli Minute. It gets you to Sunday. It gives you daily tips. It lets you know what's going on in Washington. What my tips are regarding the stock market, investing, and where things are going. And we're here with sports legend, New York Giant legend, Leonard Marshall. Leonard, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out today.
You're quite welcome, Tom.
Yeah, and I appreciate it.
It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you. You retired at 33 years old from the NFL.
And I'm asking myself,
now what?
What do I do when the cheering stops? What do I do when the cheering stops?
Yes.
Right.
So I now have to reinvent myself.
But did you think about this while you were playing?
Yes, I did.
You did, which was smart. One of the things I
did early on is I aligned myself with a teammate of mine by the name of George Martin. Mm-hmm. And George was the elder statesman of our team in '86, along with Harry. And George had assembled a group that wanted to start to go back to college to finish their degrees. So I said, well, you know what? If you can do it, I can do it. Here it is. You're 33, 34 years old. You're going back to school. Guess what? I'm 21, 22 years old. Why not? So I said, okay, this guy's thinking about his life after football. I need to start thinking about mine. I got more years on my side than he does on his. I better do this. Well, I did it. I dove in. I met Ken Verkins from Fairleigh Dickinson. He took in about 35 of us, including Harry Carson, including my teammate Zeke Mowat. We all went back to school. Many of us attained our degrees. I marched cap and gown in 1991 after my second Super Bowl.
Congratulations.
And
That's amazing.
And it was
That's
a very
amazing.
proud moment.
That's
because
amazing.
I could go home and give that to my mother.
That's amazing. Absolutely. So let me ask you a question. The day you put your uniform away, you put your helmets away, and you took your cleats off, what's the feeling?
Scared the daylights out of me.
Yeah.
How am I going to make a living? What am I going to do? This is all I've ever done. I don't want to coach because I think coaching is, babysitting.
Right.
So I don't want to do that. I'm not prepared for it. What am I going to do? At the time it happened, the woman that I was with, we ended up getting pregnant. And, my daughter's born.
Beautiful.
And now I turn and I say, okay, I got to go to work. I got to fight.
Right.
I got to fight.
Right.
I got to fight, and I got to fight the fight. And guess what? The world is my audience.
Yeah.
So I dove into stuff. I dove into the securities industry. I took my education and used it to my advantage.
Right.
I connected myself with a brokerage firm in South Florida. They gave me an opportunity. I made it work.
Nice.
Right. That's amazing.
I
It's
made
amazing.
it work. I continued to use my entrepreneurial spirit to go into other ventures. While I was working there, within 3 years, I founded a sports apparel company, a licensed sports apparel company.
Oh, great.
I came to New York. I found a gentleman by the name of Sam Kim who was making goods for Logo Athletic and for a company called FUBU at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He took me in. We took ProStar Athletic to another level along with my dear friend Mark Cunan, who I'm going to see next weekend for his daughter's wedding.
Very nice.
And a relationship I built after football. So I'm very proud of kind of the steps that I took and the people that I connected with and networked with.
So talk about the security business.
The stock business was crazy because, I went to work for pretty much what they called back in the day a chop house. A small cap NASDAQ firm that only did small cap NASDAQ deals. We didn't do anything big. I wasn't banking or brokering any big time securities. I was taking small companies, emerging market companies, and growing them to a certain level, and then selling them off to the big banks once they kind of grew up, and went on and made my money, and kind of went on and went in another direction. From 95 to 98, I did that. From 98 to 2002, I went in the apparel industry. From 2000 to 2009, I went in the mortgage business and really used my noggin a little bit and what I learned in business. So along the way, I participated in other ventures and other deals that I made money. Actually made money.
Right. So my advice as I'm listening to you for entrepreneurs is, or people that want to be in business, what you start in is not where you end up in.
No,
right?
exactly.
I'm listening to all of the things that you've done, and if I started talking about all the businesses I've been in and the ventures I've done and real estate deals, we'll be here till 12 o'clock tonight.
The same way.
Right. It's amazing. But you never wind up like I don't even know how I got in the car business.
Right.
People ask me, I
Right.
have no idea. It was
Right.
an accident.
Right. I mean,
Right.
it's the same thing people ask me. How did I get into, how did I get into the CBD business?
Right.
How did I even start to learn what medical marijuana is?
Right.
How did I learn what GPS driven mobile devices?
Tell
were?
us about that.
You know.
That's I want to hear about that
Fascinating.
GPS-driven mobile device because that's technology. That's where we're at today.
Right.
That's where the kids are. They're all about technology. Tell us about that.
Okay, so I got involved with a bunch of guys that are ex-bankers at what do you want to say, Cantor Fitzgerald. And one of the guys I got involved with, a gentleman by the name of Ira Rosenblum, who lives out in Hewlett Bay. And another good friend of his, Gus Annunziata. And they came to me with an idea to take a safety device and market it to women on college campuses to pretty much rival sexual and civil assault. So I said to myself, geez, what could I do with this? How could I even get my arms
there's the
around
key.
this?
I asked the question for a reason. I just
Right.
didn't want to know about the
Right.
device. I want the listeners to hear that when someone comes to you with an idea, is to think about, geez, what could I do with this? It happens
What
to
could
me
I do with
every
this?
day, day in and day out. people come to me with ideas. People come to my office, especially with my radio show now. The emails,
crazy.
and it's crazy.
It's crazy.
People, all day long. And I say the first thing that comes to my mind is it's not, no, I'm not interested. It's,
Right.
what could I do with this? What could I do with this?
Right. So I got my arms around it. I looked at it, and I began to connect the dots. So as I'm connecting the dots, I'm seeing a bigger audience than college campuses, women on college campuses. I'm seeing resorts.
I'm seeing corporate America.
Seeing corporate America.
Corporate America.
I'm seeing CEOs that are challenged with identifying and recognizing where their people are.
Yes.
Throughout the facility. I'm seeing parents go on vacation at Disney, Universal, so forth and so on. How can I stay connected to my children while they're on property? What happens if they go off property? Can I monitor where they go off property?
Right.
Can they receive a signal when they go off property?
Exactly.
So I met someone that worked for Steve Wynn, and this individual said to me, "Oh wow, this could be big for us at Steve Wynn hotels. I mean, not only could we control the flow of our workers and our employees, but we could also control the flow of people that are visiting our properties. And this could actually become the way they enter the room and the way that they communicate while on property." We took that idea, we wrapped our arms around it, we found the people that could help bring the technology to the device that we needed to go back to Steve Wynn hotels and to make a deal with them.
Amazing. Two things I see from this conversation, and that's, I go down these paths because it's almost like an exercise. You get information, and it's unbelievable. Go big or go home. You went big with it. You saw it big. As it was happening, you weren't thinking, "Wow, this is great for college campuses, and I could get a couple of parents to buy this."
Yeah.
You were thinking big.
Steve Wynn Hotels.
Right.
Steve Wynn.
Exactly.
Same thing and the same thing happened with Elixinol.
Yeah.
I mean, when Elixinol came out and people asked me about CBD, they asked me what one product changed my life. What happened to me when I diagnosed having CTE? Did I sit back and cry about it? After I got those results from the Nancy Reagan Center at UCLA, from Dr. Benedict Maolu? Or did I say, okay, how can I make my world better? This stuff caused me to have problems in my marriage, problems with my child, problems with my friends. How can I remedy this? I started using the CBD. I said, okay, if it can help me, there's 22,000 of my brothers out there that play in the National Football League,
right,
which a doctor has said 90% of them will end up dying from CTE that play the game of football.
Wow.
You know what? I better try to find a way to get this product to them.
Yeah.
That's what we've been able to do.
That's amazing.
We've been able to do it. So I'm lucky. I'm blessed. But again, I'm a visionary.
Right.
And
that's what an entrepreneur, listen, that's what the show's about. It's about a visionary. People have ideas. They don't know what to do with them. You got to think big. You got to go after it. You got to think about how you can execute this on a large level. And then eventually somebody will buy you out. The same thing you're saying is the same thing I keep telling my team. And my team gets it. My team gets it. Everybody that works in Elixinol has the same idea, whether it's David Newman, Chris Assange, Tara Kumans, it doesn't matter which one of them come to play. And they come to play and they bring their A game every time they step out. And they know that if we change lives, we will continue to change ours. Right, exactly. And you know what? Just like you said earlier in the conversation, every day you got to figure out how to better yourself. Every day you got to figure out how to better your business.
Right.
You got to be better in business. You got to be sharper. You don't get up in the morning and say, "Okay, well, let it run itself." Right. You get up in the morning and you say, "How am I going to make this better?"
Yeah.
How am I going to succeed? Yeah. How am I going to make it better? How am I going to take this to the next level?
And listeners probably say to themselves, how can I become Leonard Marshall? How can they become Tom Maoli? What do they do different than I do? They put their pants on the same way. They take a shower the same way. They brush their teeth the same way. They comb their hair the same way. They do everything that we do every day. What's the difference between us and them? The difference is we're driven.
We're driven. It's all about driven.
That's the difference.
Yeah. You know what? I always say I will hire someone that has desire over education or wealth or money
all day long.
Because you can't stop desire.
All day long.
You give somebody has desire, they'll run through a brick wall.
All day long.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's and you know what? I'm not so sure and if you teach it or you just have it. I don't know if you could teach it.
I think you have it.
I think you have it too.
I think you have it.
Yeah,
I think you have
it. Yeah. It's interesting. I was going to Chicago during the week to take my daughter to go. We were going to see a real estate deal.
Okay.
And she's still in college. She's in her second year in college. And we had to catch a flight in Newark Airport at 6 a.m., which means we had to be up at 4. Right? So I'm up 4:10, and I'm getting ready, and I'm texting her, and she's like, "Dad, I'm out of the shower ready and ready." And I said, she's got it.
She's got it.
She's got it. Because she's got desire. That's all you need is desire. Yeah. If you have desire, you can succeed. Exactly. So I'm going to flick the switch back to the NFL for a second.
Okay.
Why doesn't the NFL, why are they not preparing these athletes for the end of their careers?
Tom, that's a great question. I mean, I went to the NFLPA a number of years ago with a dear friend of mine by the name of Corey Crowder out of Florida. Corey played in the NBA, played for the Utah Jazz and a couple of teams. His son, Jay Crowder, now plays in the NBA.
Right.
And we went along with a guy from Harvard who was a summa cum laude graduate from Harvard Business School, Andrew Neatlich. And Andrew and I actually wrote a book on entrepreneurship a couple of years ago. And we wanted to create a transition program for the NFL to help players transition out the game into life.
But it's NBA, it's NFL, it's all sports.
And go from a uniform to another uniform, that uniform being a suit and tie.
Exactly.
And the NFL didn't want to buy our idea. They wanted to take our idea and use it for their own
that happens all the time. Happens all the time.
And so I said to the guys, I said, fellas, we might as well, we're in a pissing game with a skunk. We're never going to win.
We're never going to win.
So we might as well put this on the side and let them figure it out on their own and wish them all luck in the world. If I had that answer that you just asked of a question, I think I would satisfy the huge curiosity of many of men who have come before me and many of men that will come after.
It's so logical because at the end of the day, they would attract better players because there would be a career path. It's almost like a placement counselor in a high school or in a college who's gonna get you an internship and then ultimately into a company.
I think you would want. I would think you would want players to be dumb like a fox, but in the end, I think they want you to be dumb. They want you to continue to need them, and you know what the need is. That money. That dangling carrot.
Yeah,
that makes you come back every year.
No doubt.
Where can I make $8 million doing this for a living? Where can I make $6 million doing this for a living?
Absolutely.
So, dangle that carrot and they will come.
No doubt. So we're on the NFL. I want to talk. I want your thoughts on the national anthem. The kneeling, the whole situation. I mean, it's all over the news. It's everywhere. Trump's on it. Listen, I'll give you my opinion. I think he's got it. I think it's real. I think you make this money in this country, and I think you have an obligation to salute your flag.
Well, I agree with that, but I also agree with the fact that you do have a First Amendment right.
You do,
and a Second
absolutely.
Amendment right.
Amen.
And I think that many of the players, I think America has gotten it wrong. I think what it's about when it comes to saluting of the flag is not so much the honor of the flag and honor of country. It's the honor of the men that came before us.
Yes.
Right.
And the racism that has been stymied or pushed aside as a result of the use of the flag.
Yes.
And using the flag as a how do I say this? As a common thread to say, well, if you want to debunk the flag, you really shouldn't be playing the sport, and you really shouldn't be representing America while playing the sport. The other piece to it is the military pays the NFL $5 million a month, league-wise, for players to stand on the field and salute the flag. That's something a lot of people don't know.
Did not know that.
Okay? They did not know that. That's $80 million a year. So if you do that times 16 games, that's $80 a year.
Wow.
$80 million a year for players to stand on that sideline and salute that flag.
Wow.
So there's more underlying things that are going on associated with this.
Right.
Clearly,
I'm looking at it from the outside in. You're on the field, and that's why I asked the question.
From the inside up.
Right.
And from the inside up, I say that, that's the reason why Colin Kaepernick decided not to honor the flag versus not to support management and management wishes. And I think that's where people are getting things a little bit conflicted.
Right.
My teammate George Martin was on television talking about this on CNN with Chris Cuomo about maybe 2.5 weeks ago. And I took heed to that because that's what I've been saying the whole time. He eloquently explained it, and the audience got it. And not only did the audience get it, I think Chris knew it going in, but the audience got it. And I think that's what's causing all this uproar is the ignorance associated with it.
Yes, correct. Well, listen,
You're right.
Fans only fans and listeners only get to see what they see, right? They get to see me on social media. They get to see you. They read stuff in a newspaper. It's not always correct.
I'm going to make you laugh. I'm talking to your main guy.
Yes.
Okay. I'm at one of the dealerships.
Yes.
And I'm talking to what's his name?
Bob.
Bob.
No,
Bob
no,
G.
no,
Quinto.
not Bobby G. The gentleman that runs the car lot. He's African American. Ex-military. He's ex-military.
Rocca?
No. Tom knows what I'm talking about. Older gentleman, glasses, African American.
Yes,
Howard.
I know.
Howard.
Yeah,
I'm talking to Howard.
Yes.
Howard and I had an in-depth conversation.
Great guy. Yep. Great guy.
For over an hour, Tom. Over an hour. Over an hour. I'm sitting there getting my car worked on. Over an hour. And he's explaining to me and telling me about the movie Glory and telling me how it affected him and his family. And that the story had a lot to do with his uncle and people in his genealogy. And he said to me, Leonard, if they only understood what the whole thing associated with the flag was about,
right,
they'd really be able to explain it in better detail, and America would have a better understanding of
right,
it.
exactly.
And I said to him, Howard, I couldn't agree with you more.
Right. Amen. Amen.
Guy.
Listen, we're gonna take a commercial break. We're gonna be back with Leonard Marshall, legendary New York Giant. The phone lines are open, 800-321-0710. It's Tom Maoli, go big or go home. We're gonna be back in a few minutes with and we have some more questions. We want to get on to business. We're gonna talk about business. Very important, and because that's what the show is about. And we'll wrap it up with at the end of the show, I want to talk to you about your advice for young players. We'll be back. Hi, I'm owner Tom Maoli. I want to personally invite you to experience the celebrity treatment at Alfa Romeo of Morris County. We treat all of our customers like a VIP celebrity. You'll find the most competitive prices in the industry and 18 acres of inventory.
Right now, get a new 2018 Alfa Romeo Giulia for only $299 a month.
The fastest way to get the status you deserve and the value you expect is to follow the star to Alfa Romeo of Morris County. Shop where the celebrities shop. I'm owner Tom Maoli, and I want to personally invite you to experience the celebrity treatment. At Lexus of Route 10, it's the quality, it's the service. We have the most competitive prices in the industry, and we have 30 acres worth of inventory.
Right now, get a new 2018 Lexus NX 300 for only $349 a month.
The fastest way to get the status you deserve and the value you expect is to follow the star to Lexus of Route 10, the #1 volume Lexus dealer in the Eastern region.
And we're back. We are back with real estate, automotive, business, and finance serial entrepreneur, Mr. Go Big or Go Home himself, Tom Maoli. Tom?
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it. It's
great show.
It's amazing. It's a great show. We got legendary New York Giant, legendary on his home turf.
Thank you.
Leonard Marshall. Phone lines are open, 800-321-0710. And I want to remind everyone again, one more time, because we're going to come to the end of the show soon. It's the Maoli Minute on your morning drive and on your drive home from work. It's daily business tips. It's about the stock market. It's about interest rates. It's about what's going on in Washington. It gets you to Sunday so that you can fill in your week. It gives you, ideas and advice to think about. We're here with Leonard Marshall. We talked about NFL to nauseum. We talked about life after the NFL, and I want to talk about business now. Right? You're involved in so many businesses, and you're about to take a step and get involved in a company that I'm starting, which is Joe Zone. Joe Zone, a sports themed coffee company. And you said something earlier that it invigorated me, and it just was amazing that you said it, because that's my vision, and it's about the sports tie-in. Talk about the sports tie-in.
I think the tie-in to sports and business is the same way that music crossed over with sports. I think that when people clearly understand the commonality that both play and the entrepreneurial spirit and drive that's developed by athletes to go on and be successful in whatever endeavor they touch, whatever endeavor that touches them, the people that they meet along the way, just like I met you.
Right.
And how I've admired, after reading about you and coming to know you and understand you, not only just buying cars from you, but knowing who you are and knowing the man you are and the integrity that you represent and the leadership and the skills that you possess and you provide to others, that makes me respect you the same way as if you scored a touchdown on me, you beat me in the Super Bowl, You want to get divisional championship from me, whatever it might be. And I think that in itself is what makes us so unique and ties us together.
Amen. And I agree. It's absolutely. And I have the same admiration and respect for you, Leonard. We're going to we have a caller. We have Dan calling in.
Sure.
He has a question regarding we're back to the kneeling and the flag. Dan, are you there?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Dan.
I don't have a question. I can only speak for myself, but there's two things. I never really liked Colin Kaepernick's approach, and I'll tell you why. As a third generation member of the New York City Police Department, my son's in the family business now. The overwhelming number of people I ever worked with in the most racially diverse police force in the world were hardworking people and did their best and under trying circumstances. And along comes Colin Kaepernick to represent the oppressed African-American man who feels like he's being abused by the police. Okay, it's a legitimate point. There are abuses. Colin Kaepernick he's a biracial individual, grew up in a White House, an upper-middle-class neighborhood, who went to Stanford High School, three-star athlete, king of the prom. He didn't grow up in the neighborhoods where I worked. He doesn't know what these kids face every day economically and socially. I have more ability to discuss that situation than Colin Kaepernick would ever have. Colin Kaepernick didn't find religion until he was demoted, and he found a girlfriend who grew up in Egypt under Sharia law and came back to the United States. Now, these two cats are going to tell me about what the average teenage kid in the inner city needs to is being oppressed. I could tell you more about these neighborhoods than these two people could ever. So he got off to a bad start. Then he wears the pig socks, which is very immature. To my eye, which to me just showed him to be a typical immature athlete who's been pampered every way up the ladder. So now I have the host and other people who, when I look at their background, I try to learn from their experiences because we're different. But this person had nothing to offer to me. Just because you are half African American doesn't make you an expert on what's going on in a city. So I actually agree with the president's policy. If you want to stay in the locker room, stay in the locker room. But if you come on the field, you will stand at attention. To me, seems like a fairly reasonable accommodation.
You know what? And to your chagrin, I say this: kudos to you for all you've done, all you continue to do in terms of your work and everything else within your community and your surroundings. I think when it comes to this situation, and I'm going to just put first thing first. I think the president has a right to an opinion. Okay, he has a right to opinion. He has a right to voice his opinion. But I think
he has a lot of opinions.
Yeah, right. but does his opinion matter in sports and football? Because I think it's him getting out of his lane. I think and I think that's part of the problem with this is that it's him getting out of his lane and talking about something that associated with something that he really doesn't or shouldn't be talking about. He's not an NFL owner. He doesn't speak to players. He doesn't speak to management of players. It has really had nothing to do with him and anything else that's going on with him, except for the fact that he is the president of the United States. He's a sole contributor to results associated with the flag and so forth and so on. So, again, it comes back to what Tom and I have been discussing. It's ignorance, okay? It's ignorance on Colin's part. It's ignorance on other people's part. The only thing that we should take from this conversation, Colin has a bigger audience than you, Dale. And Colin has a 20 million viewership audience. And every time he steps on the field, that are going to say, you know what? I like what that guy is saying.
Right.
So that's the difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dan, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Leonard, we're coming down to the end here, but I have two questions.
Sure.
Advice for young players.
Young players, get your education. Remember, that's the reason why you signed up to play at that university. So get your education because, believe me, they're going to use you to the utmost of their ability. They're going to sell everything they can with your number, name, likeness, image, biographical data that they possibly can to make money off of you. And 3, if you do finish your degree, go back. Go back and touch somebody else's life. Because somebody touched your life, and for whatever reason that you were able to be successful, I want you to really think about that. Think about what made Shaquille O'Neal who he is, what made Leonard Marshall who he is, what makes Odell Beckham who he is. I'm only talking to Tigers because they have the same commonality that I had, except I started it. They've now continued that legacy, and that legacy continues to go on and on and on at Louisiana State University.
That's amazing. You know what? It's so apropos that you say that because that's what my show is about. It's about giving back. It's about showing people how to do it. I'm not getting anything from this. It's about showing people how to do it. People are just they're in awe. They want to know how you do it. They want to go out there and do it, and I want to see them succeed. I'm not a person that says, I'm not going to tell this person because he's going to use it against me. I want to show them how to do it. I love to watch and mentor young kids and young business entrepreneurs who are trying to get going, trying to get started, giving them my knowledge, showing them. Sometimes I tell them, I was out with my daughter, like I said, in Chicago the other day, and I said to her, you know what? You're asking a lot of questions, and I'm going to answer every one of them, and I love it. I want you to just take a deep breath and watch me. Watch me, because you learn so much from watching.
Right. I would love for you. I would love my stepson just got his degree from Georgetown in taxation.
Great.
Okay, my stepson's an attorney in Florida. Okay, he's a Florida licensed lawyer, graduated at the University of Florida, got a business degree in finance, an MBA from Jacksonville University, down in Jacksonville. I would love for him to sit and talk with you, especially about our concept. What we're talking about with Joe Zone. Because I'm going to learn an awful lot from you about coffee.
And I'm going to learn a lot from you about sports.
And the drive and the determination and how I would, challenge people. And I think that's the beauty of what we have together.
Amen. Listen, everybody has a bad day. You get up, you have bad days. I have bad days. There's days you don't feel like going to work. There's days that you look in the mirror and you're like, how am I going to accomplish what I need to accomplish today? But guess what? You go out and you do it. And you do it to the best of your ability. You have to go all the way, go big or go home, right? You got to go big or go home. That's the way to do it. So last question, Leonard, advice for young entrepreneurs, because now you're an entrepreneur.
Muhammad Ali told me something early on in my career.
Oh, man.
And George Foreman gave me some advice early on in my career. And I have a picture to share with you to prove it. Muhammad Ali told me that the mark of a champion is to be able to get up one more time than you could be knocked down. That's the true mark of a champion. And he said to me, don't be embarrassed to pick yourself up off the canvas and come back with a greater vengeance than you had when you were in the fight.
Absolutely. Amen. Tremendous. Leonard, listen, I appreciate you coming out here today. The listeners appreciate you coming out here. Thanks. I love you. Great job. Amazing. Thank you, because clearly a motivational and a mentor to all the listeners out there. For my listeners, the show, I'm looking forward to getting working on Joe Zone together and being side by side with you.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'd rather be side by side with you than against you, because there's no way I want to be tackled by you. With that being said, Leonard, it's Tom Maoli, Go Big or Go Home, for another week. We have Leonard Marshall, legendary New York Giant. I'm going to leave you with the advice I leave you with every week. Is go with your gut, take your leap of faith that your gut tells you is 1,000% right. When everyone else is telling you you're crazy or you're wrong, go for it. You can't hit the ball unless you swing the bat. I wish everyone success in the world, and stand firm to your beliefs, maintain your morals and values, and never give up your ideals and your dreams. And winners never quit, quitters never win. It's Tom Maoli, Go Big or Go Home. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Listen to the Maoli Minute, because it'll keep you going until we get there again. Leonard, thank you.
Thank you, Leonard.
You're welcome, Tom.
Right.
Thanks for having me, guys.